Zigzag Lady. A few years ago, I broke up with a lover in the outbreak of the Israeli-Palestinian war, but not for political reasons. Yes, I was Jewish. Yes, he was Palestinian, from a small village occupied by Israelis. He fought against Israelis fiercely as a teenager. He had a purple scar on his forehead, a war scar. The more bombs my historical ancestors dropped on his part of the promised land, the more I felt for Habibi. I indulged in big fat Jewish guilt. The Cornelian dilemma brought a new zest to my life. I heard Aida's overture behind the throbbing rhythm of the nightclub. Habibi was a treat. Well-versed, intelligent, emotionally complex, he combined the appearance of a seasoned terrorist with the gentleness of a licensed psychologist, which he incidentally turned out to be. He spoke 5 languages and danced salsa, samba, and the waltz. Oh, how sorrowful were his soft brown eyes, how they sparkled as he spoke about his land and people, how deep was the scar on his heroic forehead, how I longed to smooth it with my fleeting fingertips. So my head trembled like a bird and landed into the gigantic palm of his outstretched hand. A traditional chemistry roller coaster took me through, writing poetry, reading 1001 Nights, considering converting to Islam, and wearing a headscarf. Then there came a night when, after sampling Palestinian stuffed cabbage and drinking Annie's alcohol drink that tasted like my childhood cough syrup, I found myself in his arms. The act of love was fueled by 2 bottles of cognac and a couple of joints and could be loosely described as passionate, although it reminded me of a Thai kickboxing match. I didn't get to appreciate the full potential of my lover, a self-described stallion and a sexual champion, as overwhelmed Habibi went into a drunken stupor. Then his roommate arrived. Habibi snored. The roommate smiled. "Baby," he said, and threw me on the floor. Habibi snored. I'm again sharing my precious body with complete strangers. And true, I am not against sharing my body with strangers, but it has to come on my own accord. Since at this instance the sharing wasn't sanctioned, the romantic evening was hopelessly spoiled. I left my unconscious stallion and his helpful friend and cried my eyes out in a taxicab. The next day, on Saturday, I went through a mini breakup after Mass. Although the romance didn't go full scale and had a ridiculous ending, it lasted a long time and became strangely intense. Or maybe I just needed some drama and wanted to cry my eyes out. Maybe it is good for your eyes. Maybe your retinal cells regenerate this way. I had a big pity party in the car, blessed in pink. I cleaned the bathroom, bit my nails, wrote more poetry, danced to They Had It Coming from the Chicago musical, and called my ex-husband complaining about the lack of meaning in life. Then I decided to sublimate my sorrows and find peace in family and art. So come Sunday, I took my son to the only show I could find on such short notice. A dingy theater hosted a magic comedy act. The magician wore a fire engine red suit, had a high-pitched voice, and started the show by flying the toilet paper around the stage with a leaf blower. He then ate fire and flew pigeons in between the acts. The symphony orchestra played marches from Aida and the Ring. My son loved it. I suffered. And now the Zigzag Lady act. A volunteer from the audience, please, cried the magician. I wiped the tears and saw Mistress Joanna. Disturbing, elusive, and vague, like a sphinx, Mistress Joanna walked up the stage like a German knight sexual fantasies and perversions. Mistress Joanna and I were partners. We had the same body type. She was barely legal and I was an ageless beauty. Our numbers included catching a spy, running in our zones after a 70-year-old stark naked client and fighting him, threatening to torture him if he doesn't confess. He never did. Making out on top of a plastic surgeon, a regular customer wearing nothing than 3 condoms, and suspending a British businessman from the ceiling by his balls. Hey, I had to do my research for my novel, We Monsters, coming out this fall. Mistress Joanna, a Berkeley PhD student, was sensitive, intelligent, and tactful. There was something mind-shattering in watching her getting off her bike in the morning, removing her helmet, and dragging her bag stuffed with stiletto heels and Frederick's underwear inside the small, pink Victorian house, where she changed into a vamp woman with blood-red lips and a hungry smirk. We drank lots of green tea and talked about literature, writing, and foreign movies during breaks. Mistress Joanna presented a mystery to me. She liked her job, but she was not a clear-cut dominatrix, nor was she clearly submissive. And here she was again, her pale, willowy body in a red velvet magician's box. It was no accident. There are no accidents. Might some guessed as he watched the zigzag lady being split in parts? Oh, Mistress Joanna, when I saw the magician deconstructing you in 3 pieces like a Picasso painting, her childish face smiling innocently from the top cube of a monstrous structure, the jigsaw puzzle of life collapsed in front of me for the millionth time. Her gentle white hand waved at me feebly far away from your body. The magician kept layering the words like hearts. Illusion, delusion, illusion, confusion, illusion, illusion, confusion, delusion, illusion. You think, what is the connection? Here it is. Just as the lame magician manipulates his naive audience, life fools us into the illusion of logic. You think you come in one piece, but you don't. We all are zigzag ladies. Germans fuck up Jews. Jews fuck up Arabs. Arabs fuck up Americans. And Russians fuck up pretty much everything that they can or comes their way. And mistresses and slaves are all the same. Men hurt women. And women hurt men. And they all cry in the pouring rain, listening to cheesy music, afraid of loneliness and death. We're weak, blind, and helpless in the face of this dubious magic, but we pretend to be in control and we say beautiful words to disguise the cheap and dumb show. And like a zigzag lady from the box, life looks itself at us, a whorish, sadistic Mona Lisa with its sinful and detached smile. She waves at us with the gentle hand of her professional torturers in all its heartbreaking loveliness, and we love it, love it, love it to pieces.